You are watching Xirtus.
Wait, but I wanted to also ask Kurt about suffering because Kurt, you work, and a lot of the time I'll be like, "Hey, let's do a show. Let's talk about your dreams and your feelings." And you're like, "I can't. I gotta work." And I'll be like, "No. But let's make some art. We'll make some music together. Let's run off into the field together making music." And he's like, "I can't. I have to work." And then I'll be like, well, okay, well, you're going to release a new album, right? You're going to put out some new music. He's like, "No, never again. I can't afford it. They're not paying me for that. They're only paying me to deliver pizzas." So like, talk to me about suffering as an artist and all that, and capitalism. What do you think about all this stuff, you consumer?
Do you want to narrow that down at all? Yeah,
I mean, wouldn't you rather narrow that down?
Sure. Why not? No, I was talking to my coworkers and I was like, "Listen, guys. Apparently, they had a fight. They had a fight with it's a family-owned business, so it was kind of like a family fight. They had their son delivering pizza, and we had a snowstorm. And I won't get too far in the details, but I was like, guys,
but he ate a lot of pizza in the snow instead of delivering pizzas.
Guys, if I die giving people their hot cheese, I'm actually happy with that death. Like, can you imagine the fallout that's going to happen? So I'm going to get in my car and I'm going to drive this hot fucking cheese that people are too lazy to get themselves, or apparently they can't go to the grocery store and cook for themselves during a snowstorm. So it's just like you can call that nihilism. It's not nihilism. It's just like, this is the world we built. Like, I can't do anything about it. I literally can't solve all the stupid problems that we've created. So it's literally I'm in debt making the most money I can make, literally just being at a restaurant. Like, that is embarrassing as a society. I'm not even criticizing. It's just like, this is reality, and it's so hard to communicate that this is reality to people. It's like people get so far into their own echo chambers. I call it an echo chamber, but it's really, socially, we are just really far up our own ass. And it's like, how do we pull our heads out of our big, tight asses right now and realize, like, what is going on? I don't know.
Isn't it kind of cool? I mean, by the way, your cable's a little scrunchy, but isn't it kind of cool? Because it's like McDonald's. So Marxism, we've talked about this. We have a big red flag and has a gold M instead of a hammer and a sickle, but it's an automated machine that sells and pays people to juggle pieces of hamburger ingredients. That's all it is. The machines make the stuff. They have these giant tractors. They have this globalist agenda. They have commodities, resource trading around the world. They have land management. Some of these places don't even have people running them, but for the most part, they hire some people from that area to then sell things to people in that area, and it's just creating money, right? How cool is that? McDonald's is amazing. I mean, there's no reason for people to buy the things or to work there, and yet they do. So, I mean, isn't that kind of cool? Like, isn't that nice that there isn't Domino's and Pizza Hut and Pepsi?
It's cool if you're a sadist, I guess, but I think Andres is just a little bit of a sadist. I'm not here to ridicule anything. Like, I'm reading one comment, victim consciousness. Like, what? Like, yeah, someone asked for my thoughts and I'm giving them. I'm literally not attacking people by saying these things. It's just like, this is what my observation is.
You're like, I feel like the victim here. Come on.
It's like, I don't feel like a victim. I'm literally putting my life on the line so people can get unnecessary food. That is the factual reality of what is happening. And like,
yeah. Delivering pizza is statistically more dangerous than being a police officer.
Right.
That's a fact.
It is. It's dangerous. You have to travel all around the town faster than a police. Police can cruise. They have nice cars. You have to use your own car a lot of the time to deliver pizza. They used to have pizza delivery vehicles.
And you're a target as well. Like, pizza delivery guys get held up every now and again.
True.
No one's trying to fucking actively people target cops far less than they target, the guy with money and pizza.
I feel kind of brave and violent when I do my job. That's the upside. I'm like, oh, you want to steal my money? I will literally die before you get my money. It's a heavy fence. It's a high fence. You know what I mean?
Sorry, my mic was muted. But are we talking about slave morality / resentment right now?
Maybe.
Going back, yeah. I'm
Because
back.
it is like slavery. It's like we create a McDonald's, it produces all the food, you juggle it into people's hands, and then they give you money. I mean, like, we're just hiring people to sell things. There's no reason except for the fact that they need in the moving of fluid liquid currency.
It's like an IRL app.
Yeah, there's really, because they're not doing that much to make a McDonald's, but it's doing incredible things for the economy, right? It's giving people work and it's taking money from people. It's reorganizing that. And I mean, I don't know. You could do the whole thing for free, but like,
Dude,
isn't this interesting?
This reminds me.
Rate the health of an average McDonald's worker that you see when you walk into McDonald's on a scale of 1 to 10. What's the average? Be honest with us. 1 to 10. What is it?
Like a
I was
6?
a McDonald's employee. What are you trying to say?
If 0 is dead, I would say
Calling
maybe
me
2.
unhealthy.
A lot of people I see at McDonald's, I think, are about a 6. I mean, I see a lot of rather healthy Mexicans
You
working
work
at McDonald's. Yeah,
I worked.
An average, maybe.
a lot of
I'm
healthy Mexicans I see working. I haven't been to a McDonald's in 15 years, to be honest.
Okay,
Well,
that's why you're so blind to the reality of the situation.
I did though in Austria. Walk through.
That's different.
McDonald's,
That's
use their
completely
bathroom.
different.
Okay, all right.
Austrian McDonald's is like, fucking a 4-star Michelin restaurant, basically.
It is.
Yo, but
And that's what it can be.
McDonald's is just like the polished version of the model, but really it's like all the businesses that poor people rely on are really the most profitable, like laundromats. It's like
Dollar
low
Tree.
cost. Yeah, and like bodegas.
Like,
Or
I
liquor
really
stores.
think if the total collapse of society ever happens, it's because the owners decided to shut off all the corporations because they weren't happy with the 30% margin. They wanted to 50, and they just can't handle that kind of risk by keeping a business open for only a small amount of ridiculous money. They need a much larger amount. I think if you actually look into the process of what's actually happening, it's like it's really much darker than what people realize, and the end result is like that type of system can only subsume itself after so much time, and you can't even spend time warning people because they're not going to listen. It's just like, well, that's where things are headed, and you can't save people from themselves. Don't force people to listen. Just there's an aspect of you just have to let it happen. You can't even redirect the karma. Like,
But what do you like better? Do you like it better like the Soviet soup kitchen where the food is free and you have to work sometimes for the state for free so you can have access to the free stuff? Or do you like it where the food is cheap and you get paid poorly in order to get? I mean, how different is the McMarxism from the real Marxism? Like, why and which is more efficient?
The food's not even that much. It's almost cheaper to cook for yourself than it is to eat fast food these days. The exception is pizza. It's because, pizza at the grocery store is still, for some reason, just as much as getting it delivered to your house, basically. If we're doing price per weight. But yeah, no, fast food like Wendy's, McDonald's, it's not even, it's more, you're only paying for the convenience of getting it quickly. You're not even saving money getting it quickly anymore. And I feel like there was a time.
For Peter and Paul, robbing Peter to pay Paul. But if you're looking at it, like the people are getting the service and the people are providing the service because you have people working there and people buying there. It seems to me that you have essentially the McMarxist soup kitchen. It might be something that you can make cheaper. You can make it easier for people to have access. I think it's a great idea for everyone to have access to $1 hamburger.
Yeah,
I mean,
but everyone's middlemaning something, though, right? It's like my landlord doesn't work my job to keep this house that I live in. You know what I mean? But I'm middlemaning it and making a living doing it.
You know what I really liked? I really like the civic way to do it, where it's you have like places where people live just naturally grow within the infrastructure, like naturally grow fruit trees and fruit plants and stuff, so people will just always have access to food. I mean, maybe that's good. Maybe we don't do that. Maybe we don't do that for a good reason. But I also did hear that some cities like purposely plant male trees.
Mm-hmm. They totally do, and they don't want rats in New York to have access to fruit trees. That's a big excuse. I still think it's worth doing, though. I think you could spray plants with paprika water, and then most of the time animals wouldn't want to go near the trees. But the question still remains, is it conscription versus capitalism? Because you either get conscripted into the Roman army, and as a Roman citizen, you're provided free bread, or you choose where you want to work. You end up working at McDonald's, and then McDonald's gives you $1 hamburger. And it's like, do you want to be forced to work for free services, or do you want the opportunity to work as much as you want to work for as little money as possible for a cheap service, right? I feel like it's Mick Marxism.
Is there a third option?
That's a question. What's the third option? Is there a third option?
I don't think Marxism is explicitly like trading your labor for access to state services. Isn't
fake capitalism,
isn't
fake
like,
communism, fake prayer? Yeah,
isn't the goal of communism just in theory, purely in theory, like for there to be a stateless, classless society? So there's no state that you're, conscripted into,
right,
like working for, exchanging your labor for.
Yeah, there's Burger Kings and McDonald's, and neither one has the monopoly of violence. You could work at Pepsi, you could work at Taco Bell, Pepsi's Taco Bell. I think that's the idea, is that you have, instead of states, you would have corporations or Gewerkschafts or, labor unions, Soviet labor unions, right? That's what McDonald's would be.
If they were self-regulating, sure.
Yeah, if you're forced to work for corporations, well, you realize how much of a cult, the corporations kind of become, and how much they are, self-regulating, and how bad that self-regulation is. Like, think about how much it's a lot of people haven't worked at corporations, and they don't really understand what it's like. There's a slow creep into, the professional life into everyone's personal life. It's like for a while you could post on social media. Now it feels like you can't really post on social media, because no matter where you work, it's like your boss is trying to add you, and like if you post something, you're like, oh, did you see what so and so posted? So it's like every viable path we've had to express our freedom of speech has been taken away by our employment. Like that's functionally what has been happening, and it's hard to communicate that to people that have never worked at somewhere so basic as Taco Bell. Like, that shit happens everywhere.